Hello guys, I'd like to welcome you on the Cloud and DevSecOps Z days. And right now we are gonna talk with William Castillo, the lead system engineer, about security. And after the presentation, you will answer the question, how secure are your assets? Hello William, how are you today?
Hi, fine, thank you. And you? I'm really excited to share this talk with you guys. I think this is a pretty interesting talk. Here I am.
Okay, awesome. So, William, you can start to share your presentation. And while you are sharing, I want to remind the audience that, guys, please ask the questions because after the session, after the talk, we will have a Q&A part where William will choose the best question and we will have a special gift for the author of that question. And please try to stay not anonymous when you're posting the questions in the chat. So just waiting for the sharing starts and we will go. Oh, I think we have some technical issues. Need to wait a little bit when we will see the presentation itself.
Hello?
Yes, William, we can hear you. Anticipating to see the slides.
Okay, I think I got disconnected. Okay, let me share the screen. 1 second.
Yep.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I want to share just a little bit about me. Well, I've been in EPAM systems about more than 1 year. And during this trip, I just got in this last year about 8 certifications. And in total, I hold 19 certifications. This is just for my background. I have some technical and administrative knowledge. So, well, that's it from myself. And let's start. So there's a question about how secure are my assets in this 2020. How secure is a company? How secure is a development team? How secure is an application? How secure is the infrastructure? How can I protect my assets? Well, let's start with a basic question. What is the objective of cybersecurity? Well, the answer is cybersecurity or information security, they protect assets. And what is an asset? Well, an asset is a resource with something with value that generates benefits from the company. It could be money, it could be just data. I don't know, but it generates a benefit or a value for the company. Okay, so when we talk about security, cybersecurity, or information security, they all are covering the same thing, the same points, which is the triage, the CIA, which means integrity, confidentiality, and availability. And I'm going to give a brief explanation of this. Well, integrity, it's when, let's say, you go to the bank and you just save or deposit some money. Let's say you have $10 there. Then you go out, go to travel, go to anywhere, then just get back. And when you get back, you say, hey, I just want to recover my money. So if you left $10, then when you came back, your $10 there have to be there. So that's it. What you left, it's what they have to be there. For availability, it's that if I need something, it has to be ready to be used or available at any time that I require it. That's simple. It has to be ready when I need it. And confidentiality means that only people that needs and require access to any resource, let's say data, some information, only those that really need it have access to it. No one else can access or should access that resource or data. And this triage, it's well gathering all these three things. That's the information security. Okay. So when we talk about cybersecurity controls or information security controls or security controls, we just can talk about physical, logical, and administrative controls. Physical, well, it's like the most common, like we know, it's like cameras, when you close the door, anything that do not allow people to enter or access any place. Okay, for logical, we have permissions for files, folders, resource, anything that may restrict the access to that resource. Could be an application that uses user password or token, or if it's a shared folder, well, you need permissions to log into the folder, and also you need permissions to read the data or write the data. So that's the logical part. And with the administrative part, we have some contracts or non-disclosure agreements or any other paper-based rules, policies that they do not guarantee that something is not going to happen, but at least it's like a stopper. It's a warning. Hey, guys, if you do something bad or something wrong, there are going to be consequences, legal consequences. So that's the administrative part. It looks easy to cover three of them, but in some cases it's difficult and not always they work as expected. So here comes the question again, how secure are my assets? Well, we have two roles in a company, in a project, in everywhere, that it's insider. And these roles or these people, well, it's kind of complicated to handle them. But let's start. What is an insider? Well, it's a person who have knowledge and have access to confidential information or privileged information of a company. And well, insiders usually are those who have very important positions, probably in the board of directors, probably any external consultant, I don't know, people who gathers very important information, and usually they use it to improve or to make some decisions on the company, on the future of the company, probably on the present. But sometimes they don't just not do that. Probably sometimes they just share the information, they just, or maybe not share, just download the data to their computers. Probably they go to probably Starbucks, any other place, and the computer was stolen or just left without password protection, and something may happen, right? So this is kind of not a hacker, but a possible threat in the company. Another threat, another role that we have here, it's shadow IT, also known as an IT invisible. And what is this? It's people, any person that performs IT activities without any approval. What this means or what this refers to? Well, this could be a set of systems, software, devices that are outside of the control of the IT department of a company and do not have approval of the organizations or the board of directors. In simple words, it's, let me mention a sample. It's when we need to open probably a PDF file or we need to open a specific file and we don't have the right application to open that file or to work with that. We know that if we raise a ticket, the IT department may take 2, 3, 4 hours. Probably we are going to be attended next day. And sometimes that it's probably always, we don't have that time. So we install it manually, or we ask another friend, hey, you know how to do this? And they say, yeah, we can do this. Just give me your computer, I will do it for you. And they try to install applications, configurations, plugins, whatever, without asking the IT and without gathering the proper approval and testing that application or plugin or whatever it is doing. So this is a problem, because if IT does not see what you're doing, if they do not know what is changing, and also they don't take some testing or gather some other information that may be important for vulnerability management or any other exposure that application may have, well, this is going to impact the company. So this is very important, because it doesn't matter if we have the top technology, very hard policies and procedures, and most of the people are tied to them and are following them. But if we still have these two people, these two roles in the company, the insider and the shadow IT guys, it's going to be very complicated. I don't know if you have heard that a company was hacked, or some password leak, or any other information was revealed or published. And then when they were researching, well, it was through a repository from GitHub, which had some passwords, some keys, or any other that just happened like that. It was just shared, but these are some of the reasons. Could be an insider, or could be due to shadow IT. So in the past months, I just created a survey, an internal survey. It was sent to 50 people. They were developers, they were system administrators, those kind of roles. And the results were this. The question was if they were using any CI/CD application or tool. Here are the answers. Most of them, yes, they use this kind of applications, and the most common is Jenkins or CloudBees for the paid version. Another very interesting question was if they have in their team an expert regarding information security or cybersecurity, or at least if they know something about cybersecurity, and this is the answer. Most of them, they don't, and some others, they don't know, which I can translate that they don't know. It's the same as no, because if they know, it will be known. So we have about 64% that they don't have any information security expert, or at least some guy that knows something about cybersecurity. And this is, I think, kind of a learner. We at least have in every team someone who at least knows the very basics of cybersecurity. So, and what this has to do with the top, with the security, the application. Let's say Jenkins. This is the next slide. This comes, it's getting interesting. So, during some technical interviews in the past, and also working with some DevOps teams and sysadmin teams, I just noticed this. They use Jenkins without SSL or TLS configuration, and this is very dangerous. Okay. I'm going to give a little demonstration here, which comes in 2 steps. The first one, it's like preparing the attack. It's going to be an ARP poisoning attack, and we also have a network listener for this. It's a pretty simple attack. I'm not going to perform in live. I'm just going to perform in live the second part, which is how to retrieve everything from the servers once we got this information, okay? So if we do not use SSL/TLS configuration for any web application, it doesn't matter if it's not Jenkins. This is going to be using Jenkins, but it applies to any other web application. So take care of this. So the first part, we're going to use Kali Linux. You know, this distribution is for testing, for security testing. And I just performed this in a separate laboratory, and I took the screenshots, okay? So the first step was trying to poison any computer in the network, and also we had to identify any server that we want to be listening on or for a specific information, right? Here in the screen, you see, let me show, here, I want you to see here this line. I don't know if you can see, it says J underscore username admin ampersand J underscore password, and here says Jenkins password. Okay, this was a packet received in the network. It was sent through POST request, and I just captured that using TCP/DOM. As you see, TCP/DOM, it's a common command. It could be installed in any distribution list. So we don't need any specific tool for this or any very complicated tools or knowledge for this, okay? So let me share this. Here I have my Jenkins server through a desktop or another workstation, which received the ARP poisoning attack. Okay, so as we saw in the previous picture, the username was admin here, and also the password was Jenkins password. So I'm showing it here, so you see I'm not cheating. Okay, Jenkins password. Let me share again the presentation. So here, let's say again, admin and Jenkins password, okay? It's admin, I'm just pasting it. Okay, it's taking a little bit, let's wait. Things happen when we are demonstrating things in live. Okay. Sorry, seems the IP just changed. Okay. Well, sorry for that, guys. Something changed in the network, so let me try again. It's IP20. Here we go. Again, the admin, we just copy and paste the password. We said no. And here we go. We just got the main password. But this is not all. This is just the first step of this demonstration. What we did here, we just try to listen all the traffic that comes from a specific computer to the Jenkins server, right? And we just got the first username and password. But here comes the interesting part. Let's say, let me use this other. But here comes the most interesting part. Once we have access to Jenkins, while we work in an enterprise company, or most of our projects have been configured to use the same credentials on every service we have in the company using Active Directory or probably OpenLDAP. This is the dangerous part. So we have an option here in Jenkins, which is this console. Once we have access to Jenkins, the attacker will try to gather most information as possible. So as I mentioned, usually our user and password have access to any other different servers. So probably the username and password that we just type in Jenkins, probably it's a limited user, it's not root access, okay? But once we have access to Jenkins, let me show you the other part here. With this simple query, we can retrieve all the information from credentials, from passwords and tokens that are saved in Jenkins. As we know, Jenkins needs credentials to connect to other services or servers to perform the task or the pipeline that we have configured. So here we are. We just click and run. And let me show you the result here. Here is the dangerous part. As you see, I have a password saved here, which is just a demonstration. It's password in quotes. Here's the password. I also have saved some private keys to connect to other servers. I think the mouse just freezed. Well, okay, I think it got freezed. Hello guys, can you hear me? I think my computer got freezed.
Yes, I can hear you.
Do you still see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it, but nothing is moving on the screen.
Yeah, I think it's not responding, but well, okay, thank you guys for the confirmation. Okay, here is the first row, it's the password. On the second one, I have a private key, and I have some other results, but at the end, this query that I just pasted in the script console will return every username, key, and password that we have stored in Jenkins. And it's going to be in plain text. We don't have to decrypt or anything else. We just have the plain text information there. And this is the very critical part. Once we have this, well, we just have access to the whole company assets and resources. We can access another servers using the token or the root password. We can also access databases and any other thing inside the network. So let me see if I can do something. because that is not answering. Oh my god. Okay, guys, I think I need to force this application to close. Probably I'm going to be disconnected. I'm going to rejoin back as soon as possible. Give me 1 second, please.
So looks like that the demo gods is not on our side today. Let's just wait for William will rejoin. Sorry for these technical issues, but sometimes it happens. Meanwhile, you can take your time to create the interesting questions for William and put it in our chat. And we will definitely ask William after the session to answer these questions. Still waiting for William. We are here. We did not start. Unfortunately, some technical issues on the line, but we are still hoping that William could be able to join back and tell us a little bit more about security in Jenkins. Look like William is back.
Yeah, I'm just back. Sorry.
Awesome.
Okay, let me share again my screen.
Yes, let's continue our interesting journey of securing the Jenkins.
Yes. Okay.
We can see the screen.
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great.
So you will show us once again how to steal the sensitive information from the Jenkins.
Yes, yes. Let me do that again.
Okay.
And I just want to clarify with this. We have two different kind of credentials. The credentials that we are trying to steal here from Jenkins are those that are stored as username, password, tokens, but inside Jenkins. The login to Jenkins, they are not possible because if the Jenkins was installed and configured to use local authentication, these credentials are encrypted and they are not, or it's not possible to decrypt them because of the way they encrypt. It's not two ways. It's just one way. It's that's why we cannot that. So the first part, while we poison the computer and we get the post request, that part, it's the only way to request the login details for Jenkins. Once we are inside Jenkins, those credentials are the ones that we can steal. Let me try again that here.
And also, William, can I ask you to turn on the camera?
Okay, yeah, sure. 1 second.
Thank you.
I thought it was on. Sorry for that. Can you see now? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay, here we go again. This is a simple query which retrieves everything stored in Jenkins, and let's say how it looks like. And also, by the way, we do not encourage to perform some kind of hacking or try to do this in the production environments or the client's property. Please do not do this. And if you are trying to give a demonstration for the customer client because they don't have cybersecurity things, please, before do anything, I mean anything, get the approval, get the authorization by email, by paper, but whatever, but get the approval without doing anything, okay? Because if you do things like this without the proper approval, this is going to have legal consequences, okay? So as I mentioned, just after running that simple query, we can retrieve everything from Jenkins, which could be a password, which is here. It could be a private key to connect to a Linux server, which is this one. It comes in plain text. Another one here. But this key, in this case, it's not just the key. It has a passphrase. And also we have the passphrase for the key, which is full passphrase, another password, and things like that. I don't know if you see how easy, how fast could be retrieve all this information that compromises the network, the databases, and any server in the company. Okay, so let's move to the presentation. Let's get back again. And I'm going to share with you two ways of how to fix this in Jenkins. It doesn't matter if it's in a container, it's the same thing. It's an application that needs to be tuned or configured properly, okay? How can we configure SSL for Jenkins? We have two ways, directly from the configuration file. I think it's the most simple and the one that I will be showing. and through reverse proxy using Jenkins or Apache server. It's simple as we just need to modify the following file, which is in the etc folder, and then sysconfig folder, and then the Jenkins file. Here we have 5 lines. The first and the second could keep as default as they are, and the last one too. And the most important is the third and the fourth line. Here, we have to specify the JKS file. And the JKS file, it's a configuration file for Java certificates. You can find more information in Google, or if you want, you can contact me and I can provide you some documentation so you can create this JKS file with the certificate. It could be self-signed or third-party with a vendor. I don't know, depends on your company, depends on your project, depends on you. And the fourth line is once we have this JKS file, which will have these keys. Sometimes, or the most common scenario is that we have to protect, or the file is protected by password. We just have to specify here the password for that file. Okay, simple as that. Once we have configured these 3 and 4 lines, we just have to systemctl restore Jenkins, or if it's another version, could be service Jenkins restart, and that's it. We will have our Jenkins application protected. Okay, I will try to answer another question. So how do we know if we are under attack? This is kind of simple. Most of the times, you will even not notice that you're under attack, or if you were, probably you will notice because the IT department or the server security department, we have some applications, firewall, routers, next-gen, that will detect and stop that attack. That easy. But there are also other network scan or analysis software that could be used. This can be installed in a specific server if it's an appliance, or it could be installed in an application virtual machine or your own computer. Depends on the project or the need. And we have a specific tools for this type of attacks, and we also can perform a manual check. Let me show. So in a regular network, we may have this kind of information. If we run the ARP command, it will display the IP address and MAC address for every device connected to the network. So here we just have a few computers and everything is fine. But what happens when we are under attack? It's simple. The ARP poisoning attack, what it does, it's try to clone one device and send false or packets trying to get that physical address replaced, and use that configuration to receive all the packets to the computer or to their device. So in this case, we can notice this because we have 2 different IP addresses in the left, but we also have the MAC address, the physical address, it's cloned and it's not correct. That's not possible. Let me tell you the sample here. So here, the IP number 10, which ends in 6023, it's the same as the IP 18, and this is not correct. So if we see the other image, we don't have IP 10, but we just have the IP 18. And this is how we can detect. If we notice any MAC address similar or a clone of another MAC address in the same network, well, probably we are under ARP poisoning attack. So this is the easiest and the free way to detect what's happening in our network. And we also can use a different application for this specific attack. And this is how it looks like. If the network is okay, it's a regular behavior, nothing is happening here. But if we are under attack, we may see something like this. Okay, we can get some kind of alerts. And same here, the attack is being performed here with the IP10, and it's attacking the IP12. As you see, we can see the same MAC address. It's cloned. So once again, we have the confirmation it's an attack. And also this kind of tools will show or throw alerts in the computer or the system, probably send an email. It depends on the application. And also if it's free or paid version, the features you may have here. Okay. So I think we are covered with the topic, and I just want to share with you that security is not a product or service we can purchase or buy in the store or with a consultant. It's not like that. It's a continuous process, and people play a key role in it. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys. And let's go to the questions and answers.
Okay, thank you, William, for this interesting journey in the security. And we have plenty of questions. So let's start. First of the question, how do you think, William, which security-based certifications will be valuable for the software engineer?
Well, wow, this is a complex one. Well, it depends on the path or what you are trying to pursue. Because I can tell you, well, the very basic would be you can take a, well, you have to start from the beginning. It comes from cybersecurity fundamentals. It will tell you how it works, what you need to cover, and things like that. The next thing, if you are going to be probably a pen tester or you want to test some things in the software development life cycle, well, you can start as an entry level, the certified ethical hacker. And then the next one could be offensive security, OSCP, or probably the ethical hacker, but the hands-on part from NC-Config. Those could be the very 2 or 3 certifications you can start with. But depends on what you are trying to achieve, it could be possible the certification you may get. But just try to remember that as we want to move on or improve our level, that kind of knowledge and certification will be harder. And we require a lot of time and practice while using the tools, but also not just using the tools. Here in cybersecurity, we have plenty of tools that can do anything automatically with simple clicks. But the thing here is that you understand what you're doing, how to do it, and also try to do it without the tools and try to act like if you were the attacker. Thing like that, like, okay, this application is built with this technology and also use these plugins, and you have to cover that. To protect an asset, you really think like that, okay, well, we have to cover, and then how we are going to cover. And for the testing part, it's the same thing. Okay, I have this, and this product may have this kind of vulnerabilities, and also for this, what can I use, what tools or what procedures. So this is how we work in cybersecurity. So depending on your goal will be the certification, or probably there is not a certification for that, just a lot of content to read and a lot of practice. That's it.
Okay, that's nice. Let's move to the next question. And it would be the next. What is the best way to make developer to do threat modeling?
Okay. Microsoft has its tool for threat modeling. It's it only works in Windows, and it's easy to use. You can just Google it, Microsoft threat modeling tool, and it will display the documentation and the download tool link. But it's kind because a developer, it's pretty common they don't have time to do these kind of things because they have to code, probably test, and perform some kind of deploy or automation. And I don't think the developer can run this activity because it requires time, to do things as they should be. So probably another team member could do this, but it really needs to understand two things: the networking part, the infrastructure part in your company, and also the tools and technologies that you are going to use during the development of these tools, because you have to configure those things in the threat modeling tool. So it's a complex task and it's not fast to do it. So any person in the team can perform this activity, but it will take time, and also to read the documentation and understand how the product works. And once we have this configuration set in the application, then the real works come in, because you have to perform hardening, to set configurations and things like that to cover and protect the asset and the application itself.
Okay, great. Next one, also connected to the employees. Do you think that the employees should take more training and be more trained, because it's so easy to sniff the traffic in the company?
Yes, definitely yes, but well, in the projects that I have been working on with other teams, and the training that we just received is very limited, and even it is every year like cybersecurity awareness. It's just like an end user, and for topics like hardening, like configuration for the application like SSL and that kind of topics, they are not covered since they are like more technical stuff. The company assumes that all developers and all people it's working on it, but the truth, it's not. So yeah, it could be better if the company can provide those small trainings, uh, because they're very particular. So yeah, the company should provide it, and also not just provide it, keep auditing if they are being taken, if they are really doing the job as it should be, as I explained in the training. And the compliance, it's also very important, because if we are not following the procedures, if we are not in compliance with what we're supposed to do, then we will have issues in the project, in the company, and probably a legal issue, because since we are working on the code we are building it, it's our responsibility. Even it's a company, but at the end, it's the person. The person is responsible for what happens. So the answer is yes.
Okay, great. Next one, you showed us how it could be easy to leak the passwords from Jenkins, and the question is raised that how can we protect our Jenkins?
Okay, there are two things to protect. First is using the SSLTLS configuration, so no one can steal the initial login details, and that's the main part. And the second one, protect your options in Jenkins. This comes from the cybersecurity concept, the least privilege. So this means not everyone is going to have access to everything. So there is a plugin in Jenkins to handle this. I think it's the Matrix plugin, which allows you to create groups and assign people to those groups, and then apply some restrictions to those groups. So this is the answer. How can we protect it? Just allow users, depending on the role, to be able to read some projects, and also to read or write information in the project they are running. In this case, most of users only will be able to click and run the task, and that's it. Only admins should be able to configure and set and see any other configuration in the Jenkins. That's the way. Just allowing the permission that they require, nothing else, no more than that.
Great. Another question also in the scope of securing Jenkins. What is your recommendation? Is it okay to use a free SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt, or it's better to use a certificate from commercial CA?
Well, that depends on you. For me, in my personal opinion, if it's For a testing environment, it could be a self-signed certificate. And also, sometimes we deploy containers with Jenkins just to run some things, and then after a few days, we will just remove it. So in these scenarios, I think a self-signed certificate it's fine. But some companies have a policy that do not use self-signed certificates. So they just facilitate a link where you can request a certificate. And if you have the option, they work the same way. They were protected, they encrypt the communication channel. But at the end, one difference from self-signed and a third-party vendor certificate, let's say if you have a commercial store in a public cloud and people access there, if something happens due to a lack or something bad with the certificate, you have the support from the company, from the vendor, and they will pay you. So that's the difference. They cover, there's money there. If something happened, they're going to pay you depending on what happened, how it happened. That's it. But they both protect you, protect the application. That's what I can share with you.
Awesome, thank you. Another question. What will you name as the top measures that should be implemented on every project in the scope of security?
Sorry, the top name of what?
Top measures that should be implemented. So measures, scenarios, tools, steps.
Okay, well, it's another one complex. Depending on the sector, type of company, or any other compliance or regulation the company needs to be with, there are some frameworks and standards that we can follow, or not just follow because we are forced to be in compliance with them. So I think we can start with NIST framework, which is version 1.1. It's free. Then also we can take a look to ISO 20071. It is not free. It's about $200. And we also have another framework, which is OISM3. It's kind of a mix, taking ISO 20071, some things from NIST, and also take some things from PCI DSS framework. And this one, it's also free. So you can start using them, and that's it. While you get improved, you can then look for the next one to be implemented or in compliance. But I think that the next step, once we have something implemented, we will need to control and have governability for that. I can recommend you can start using COVID from Isaka. It's the total books are 4. There are 4 books. And the first one, and I think if I remember, the first and the second book, it's for free if you register in the website. And the third and the fourth books, which are the implementation and also the monitoring or auditing, the last one, they are paid if you don't have a membership. So if you get a membership with them, you get the 4 books for free. I think
that's great.
That would be, yeah.
Great. Thank you, William. Fortunately, we are running out of time and can't cover all the questions, but we will definitely provide them to you, and then you can select the best question and we will contact author to send him the gift. So thank you one more time for the presentation for Dive in Security. Thank you the audience for participation and your questions, and see you at the next talks.
Thank you guys. See you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.